Okay, back Pulver Silva 101. I would feel like a fool without. Well, I mean, we're definitely gonna let's talk about some mixed martial arts, of course. I would feel like a fool if I didn't talk about Jason Mayhem Miller and the MMA Hour. I mean, if no one's seen it or heard about it, I mean, the shit's off the hook crazy. So I'm definitely gonna put the link below, and then I'm gonna put Ariel Hawani's immediate reaction to to what happened directly below it. Both of them deserve to be watched. I mean, and I'd be a fool if I didn't, talk about it. I come from a place, and my background's not so squeaky clean, but I do come from a place where at one point we had an insane epidemic. Here was heroin. It was heroin and crack here. Lots of crackheads in my high school. It was all dope fiends. All dope fiends in my high school. There was dope fiends, on the wrestling team. You know what I mean? We're like a singlet with track marks. So it was really bad where I came from, even though it was the sticks. Literally, it's the sticks. It's outskirts of Pittsburgh. It's about 20 miles away. I'm about 5 miles away now. It's about 25 miles away, and it found its way out there, and it was bad. I'm no dummy, and Jason Miller had been up for days. I sat my wife down. She watches the video, and she said, "You know what? I think he cracked or snapped. I truly think that he thinks that he's this Patrick guy. Like, I don't think that he likes Mayhem, so I think he made up this other guy, and I think he truly believes that he is this Patrick guy. Maybe, maybe not. I'm not sure. I mean, I have a hard time believing that. She thoroughly believes it, but I have a hard time believing it. I just think that, he wasn't drinking. He wasn't drunk. This guy has gone out of his mind. He was, I mean, what do you call him? An Aryan. He was calling Ariel Hawani, asking if he was an Aryan. An Aryan, when this is the guy that got him his green card. I mean, of course, you know what I mean? It was just so mean. Like, some of the some of the fuck yous and shut the fuck ups and what are you, an Aryan? It was racist. It was mean. It was uncalled for. I mean, put your comment below. It was crazy. It was crazy, and I didn't even know about it for a few days. And then when I watched, I couldn't believe what I saw. I didn't have any idea that Jason Miller was in that bad of shape. I did see those tweets. Those tweets were nasty. I knew he was pissed off about getting cut from UFC, but to go that far is beyond just being upset. That's a man in need of help immediately. Let's move on. For now, anyway, let's move on. We're going to go to UFC 153, and I love saying I told you so, so I told you so. For anyone who bought that and kind of feels like you bought it, it was exciting, yeah, but you bought it for the main event, admit it. But here's the good news. I loved it. I loved the main event. It was, I've never been an Anderson Silva fan. We'll say fan in the sense like I'm a Nick Diaz fan. I'm a Jake Shields fan. Definitely a Fedor fan, that was never really, Anderson Silva's going to fight. I can't wait to see what he's going to do next. Sweet, yeah. Until now. Now I am. Now I'm going to see what this guy does at 37 years of age. And remember that he is 37 years of age, doesn't look it, and certainly does not act like it out there in that cage. But he's 37. And he's standing with his back against the cage. If his fucking shorts had pockets, he would have put his hands in them, just put his hands in his pockets and just bobbed and weaved a little bit, maybe. He was taking shots on purpose. I mean, he put himself against the fence. Right where Bonnar, he kind of how he feels people out for about 60 seconds. Well, Bonnar wanted him against the fence, so he put himself there and put his hands at his sides and took Bonnar teed off on him and he let it happen. And then when he went for a takedown, he almost got it. Bonnar bounces off the fence. Silva, perfectly timed knee, right to the solar plexus, down drop Bonnar. 2 punches later, the fight's over in the first round, TKO. And Anderson didn't even try. His corner was telling him to get serious. And he just said, it was no problem. He knew exactly what he was doing. Bonnar was using 100% of what he had. All his technique, all his heart, all his will, his legacy, right here, right now. Silva was playing games. He wasn't even being serious, man. He wasn't being serious. And that's scary. What's even scarier, He's getting better. That to me was appeasing to the eye and entertaining. That's why I'm a Nick Diaz fan and a Nate Diaz fan. It's appeasing to the eye. Gilbert Melendez, another awesome striker and wrestler. It's entertaining for me to watch. I want to see shit talking in the cage. I want to see, that style of fighting. I want to see a fight. When I buy mixed martial arts, I want to see mixed martial arts. I want to see strikes thrown, takedowns, submissions, defense. I want to see all that. And Anderson Silva is right now, debatably, it's debatable. The GOAT, man, the GOAT. Next video will be Fedor versus Silva, greatest of all time. So check that out. Probably later this week, something like that. You know how I am. I'll make it whenever I feel it. When I feel like doing it. Spot on prediction. Yeah, super entertaining by Silva. The co-main event was Big Nog versus Dave Herman. Anyone or anyone that knows MMA, or anyone that knows someone that might know something about MMA could have told you that Dave Herman, even though he's a ground guy himself, it would be in trouble on the ground with Big Nog. So he was he was submitted by Big Nog in the second round. I predicted that spot on as well. Here's who I'm impressed with, this Glover Teixeira guy. I'm impressed with him, but not as impressed as Dana White. He had one fight in the UFC, and this guy, he wants to pit him against, like, Shogun and shit like that. He's not ready for that, man. I'll tell you that. He's not ready for that. He's definitely not ready for that. He's had 2 fights, and this fight was against Fabio Maldonado, and that guy has to be one of the toughest motherfuckers I've ever seen in my life to take 2 rounds of pounding like that. In the first round, he escaped an arm triangle. It was locked in. It was tight, perfect. Escaped it, but only to get mounted again and pounded on. The doctor actually stopped the fight in the 3rd round, or else he would have came out. Also, 4 minutes 30 seconds into the first round, Glover, the only thing that was keeping him up was defense at this point. Throws a left hook, connects perfectly right on the button, and Glover was in trouble, and he hit him there again. So there you go, another entertaining one. Here's something I want to talk about. Damian Maia and the Rick story. I didn't watch that on pay-per-view. I watched it after. And he didn't have the choke under the neck, but Rogan kept calling it. Being a black belt himself, he saw it coming. He kept saying, Maia's the best at this, and he's going to take it back, 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 over and over again. And I'm like, no, Rick Story's too good of a wrestler to get his back taken, especially when his back's pressed against the fence. Nope. Maia dropping down from middleweight to welterweight, perfect fit for 170. Took his back. Never got. He did get both hooks, and he did get palm to palm, but he never got under the chin. Rick Story defended perfectly. All of a sudden, you see Rick Story bite down his mouthpiece, and just blood. It looked like he bit down on a blood capsule, like Gene Simmons. This is real blood. Just started spurting, and Maia is cranking Rick Story's neck, and he really didn't win by rear naked choke. That's actually called a neck crank, and it hurts really bad. And after all that blood started spewing out of his mouth, and Rogan screamed, Story tapped. Luckily, he tapped. Fitch gets another win over Eric Silva. That one I didn't call. I couldn't call because I like Eric Silva. I think he's, one of those new breeds of MMA that are just so well-rounded in every asset of MMA. It's really hard to call. John Fitch, number 1 contender for a long time. So he's back in the win column as well. It was a decision, and I know he gets a lot of decisions, a lot of shit for getting decisions. But he ran in on I forget, somebody knocked him out like 9 seconds or something. So glad to see Fitch back in the win column. Boring, but how one thing I don't understand is how Silva got the advantage in the striking department. 19-12. I saw Bonnar teeing off on Silva. Like, look, I only watched the fight once, maybe twice, but what I did see again was Silva hands down and Bonnar swinging. But it said that significant strikes landed. Silva 19 and Bonnar 12. It might just be Silva's pinpoint accuracy. It might just be that he struck better, than him. Who knows what's a significant strike mean to you? That was the problem in the Nick Diaz versus Carlos Condit fight. Is what's a significant strike mean? And apparently everyone's definition is different. So but I was never a fan of the Spider. Stephan Bonnar has never been stopped. He's never been stopped in his career. He's widely recognized for starting or getting UFC to the mainstream. He and Forrest Griffin, the end of the first season, The Ultimate Fighter, they went to war. There was nothing martial art about that. That was a street fight, a 15-minute street fight, and they were both awarded contracts. It was just huge, you know. People's phones are blowing up. You got to turn on Spike TV. These two dudes are going at it, blah, blah. And so give credit where it's due. You know, he is a legend. I hope he you know, and you got to have balls literally the size of boulders to get in there with Anderson Silva in the first place. So, you know, much love and respect out to Stephan Bonnar, and we all know he's got the money to make a good living retired. And thanks for the fights. Um, Back to now. Let's get back onto it's in some serious shit. It's Mayhem. I read something and I tweeted it too. And I'm no you know, I'm trying to find the right words, you know, but it's just that I'm in no position to tell Mayhem or judge Mayhem. I'm certainly not judging him, and I'm certainly in no position to. I'm no expert. Um, but I mean, seeing anyone that I've seen for the last 10 years, it's entertained me. I know he's a funny guy. I know he likes to, you know, fuck around. You know, there's no joking when it came to that. That guy seriously went crazy. You know, he needs help, rehab, and most importantly, he needs psychological help. He needs counseling. Props to Ariel Helwani. Ariel Helwani, he showed why he's the best reporter in the biz, because I mean he held his own, took a break, chased Mayhem down the street, and you know, to no avail, but he still did it. You know, got back on the air and you know, went on with the show like a professional. You know, touched on it and cut right when. I mean, he just did it. He's so classy, such a nice guy. I know he's known for starting shit. Yes, he does start shit for sure. He does stir the pot a little bit, but that makes it more interesting. Like I said, I like it. Um, there's really no excuse for Mayhem. You know, this is a guy that got you're telling the interview off that you got you know, you got him into the country, man. You got him his green card, and now you're gonna sit here and say fuck you to his face, you know, and tell him he's crazy and he doesn't know what he's talking about. He didn't do his research. I guarantee that even in watching that video, Mayhem wouldn't remember doing that interview. I don't know if anyone's ever been blacked out before drunk, but I'm telling you, that's not drunk. That's drugs, and he needs help. But you know, Ariel Helwani, his feelings were genuinely hurt. So would mine, you know, if that was my friend that got me in the country or whatnot. But I mean, what do you think about Miller? I mean, it's from here. Where do you go? You know, I mean, if I was him, and I saw that and made a decision to go to rehab, it would be celebrity rehab with Dr. Drew. I would want paid. You know, that guy can get paid for the rest of his life. That guy's not a fighter. He's an entertainer. But there was, I mean, it's entertaining video to watch because it's sad and everyone likes a train wreck. I understand. I get it. But look, man, in the end, this guy truly needs help. Why not make some money at it, you know, while you're at it? Money never hurts. Actually, let me take that back. It does. Take care of each other.